Good morning. I wanted to make a video early this morning. I might make one later today. I'm going to try to stick to weighing myself once a week. I think I had mentioned in a previous video that usually if I'm on a diet, I'm like crazy on the scale, like every day and all that stuff. One of my things is just trying to approach this as not being a diet. I've really tried to stick to just telling myself to stay off that scale and only get on once a week. Something else I wanted to talk about that I'm going through that I don't know if anybody else has gone through if you're married. Clearly, probably the vast majority of us who are overweight, like with myself, I'm probably, according to the books, I do have like really huge bones and hands, and I've always been a big person. So if you look at the charts, it tells me that I'm supposed to weigh like 125 to 135 pounds. In junior high and high school, when I was athletic and everything, thin for me was like 155. So even if I go to the 155, 165 range, I'm 100 pounds overweight. And that in itself is just kind of hard to swallow. You know, it happens over a progression of time, and I guess you don't really think about, you think of it 10 pounds here or whatever, but to just like hear that number and just acknowledge that, yeah, you let yourself get 100 pounds overweight. That's crazy to me. One of my catalysts for doing this is I'm actually going to be turning 40 July 4th, and I kind of had the last few years, I live in a pretty unhealthy environment as far as culture where I live. I'm not from here, but I do live in Louisiana, and I live in a part of Louisiana called Acadiana, and the people like the snacks. And I really, thank goodness, don't really have a palate for that type of food. I've always had a bit of a cleaner diet. I think my problems with weight has been sugar, like I said, soda, and like breads and things. But here they eat, it's insane. They eat like one of their favorite snacks is called cracklin, and it's essentially like fried pig fat in a bag. And to say that there's tons of really bad food for you here would not be an exaggeration. So it's common to see a lot of people overweight. I think Louisiana is ranked one of the fattest states in the United States. Anyway, what I have found is I'm kind of going through this process quietly, but like I told y'all, my husband is like super healthy, fitness nut, always has been, very careful and conscious about what he eats. Well, because I have gone through so many different diets in the past where I'm like, I'm gonna, do Weight Watchers, or I'm gonna do, this, or I'm gonna, whatever. There's a million of them out there. And of course, a week later, you fall off the wagon if you last a week, and all of that. So I think because there's such an investment with the produce, and my husband's seen me go to the market, and it's so bizarre to me because when you're dealing with someone who's so much healthier than you are and always has been, you would think that when they see you, like, consuming nothing but this juice, and I'm not going to lie, I have not told him that I'm not eating anything. He kind of assumes I'm eating one meal a day. Not assumed, I might have implied that I was eating one meal a day, just because I knew he would freak out if he heard that I was not eating at all, and I'd have to hear the whole it's not healthy and all that stuff. So anyway, long story short, I really am, it's an investment. I mean, if you're looking at, I'm averaging, I think I did the math, and it's about $14 a day. I do have my own source of income, so I'm certainly not asking for any money, but that being said, I've caught some flack the last few days about, I try to buy organic, and I had gone to Fresh Market, and they had bundles of kale, and they were organic bundles of kale, and they were 2 for $5. Well, that's like the cheapest I had seen it. So I had grabbed like probably 6 bundles. I'm going through it a lot. And so I think that, what I had ended up doing is like the very top shelf of the refrigerator, I cleared it off. And what I do is I kind of wash all of my fruit, at one time, like a prep. And then I have them in baskets. I bought like some extra colanders and like a basket. And I try to have everything kind of sectioned out to where it's easier for me to make my juice, because I just kind of grab what I want and go. I just noticed that I think that, it was probably overwhelming when he opened the refrigerator and he was like, the top two shelves is produce plus the produce drawer. And I've been getting just a few kind of tongue-in-cheek comments about, well, if I start seeing all this go to waste, I'm going to be, I'm going to be telling you I told you so. And I just find that frustrating. And I don't know if any of you, the rest of you have gone out there and, I guess, again, it just kind of shocks me that maybe because it does seem so extreme. And then he also told me, because he reads everything, about how he had read that something about consuming too many greens could be dangerous and whatever. So I kind of had to hear a little bit of a speech about that yesterday, and I just probably wasn't in the mood to hear it. So maybe I don't want to say I'm certainly not motivated today. I definitely, oh, here comes the sun. I definitely feel motivated. Whoa. Sorry. But, I don't know. I'm probably prioritizing, definitely going to the market a couple more times a week versus trying to go once a week. So then I don't have like this, it seems bizarre that I have just like this mass quantity of, produce in the house. So that's what I was dealing with today. Probably not in the best mood. I have a client that I have a deadline. It's funny, if I love the client, then I love going through the work, and if I don't like the client, I'm like, ugh, because you're basically looking at someone that you didn't really care for 1,000 times, because you're editing roughly 500,000 pictures. So getting through that today. So I did go ahead and make primarily like an all fruit juice this morning. I had added some celery to it. That's another thing I'm confused about. I see a lot of you are doing just green juice, and that's all you're doing is green juice, green juice, green juice. What I'm trying to do is do my fruit juices in the beginning of the day, and then do my, vegetable juices in the latter half of the day. I've also been watching a whole bunch of videos about people who are going like 120 days. I kind of almost am resigned in my head to thinking, if I hit 60 and I'm feeling good and doing good, I might go a little further and see how it goes. I had, just prior to starting this, gone for my annual physical. I go to a really good physician here in town. He's actually a sports medicine doctor. And he's certainly a proponent of, healthy living. He's not one of those doctors who are pushing a bunch of, prescription drugs at you or anything. And it's funny, every single year that I go, my numbers are actually excellent. I kind of always joked and said, it's possibly partially genetics. I always say, well, I've never smoked or I've never drank, so maybe some of that's it. Who knows? But anyway, my numbers are always really good. And I think for the most part, I've always kind of joked and said, I think I'm a pretty healthy big person. So I guess I'm just looking forward to being a healthier, not as big person, I guess is the best way to put it. Like I told you, I'm kind of easing into exercise this morning. I went to take my son to school. As soon as I hit the market to get strawberries, and then I came home. And when I parked, what I've been doing is, like, before I even let myself go in the house, I walk around, it's like 2 blocks basically. I walk around this half of the subdivision and then come back inside. And so I'm just trying to kind of integrate little things like that throughout the day. I think I told y'all, it's crazy. My kids have that Xbox, and I bought that Biggest Loser game, and it's actually neat because you can select what exercise you want to do. If you want to do yoga, or if you like yesterday, I wasn't really in the mood to do anything hard, so I did yoga, and it was really nice because there's a lot of stretching. Okay, but what's insane is you have like this, if you're looking at the screen, there's this little hologram of you down on the corner. It is eye-opening and enlightening, to say the least. It's opaque, it's kind of green, and it turns blue if you're not doing it right. But, geez Louise, to see you, in your full glory, sitting there, moving around, it's mildly depressing. And then I kept thinking, well, it's not accurate. It can't be accurate. Well, ironically, as I was saying that to myself, my Chihuahua walks in, and sure enough, there's like the little, hologram Chihuahua scatting around, and sadly, he looked pretty accurate, so I'm guessing that it was accurate for me too, and just depressing. So anyway, going strong today. Feel good about the juicing. I actually am really enjoying the juice. Like I told you, I've had a few snafus, like where I've added too much ginger to one thing, or I've I think I told you about the banana pepper, and I had cut it and taken out all the seeds and then put the whole thing in, and whew, woke me up. But I definitely think I'm kind of, there's a learning curve, like I said, on that, and I'm finding the juices that I like and the juices that I don't. I think I told you on here it's Fit Life TV. Anyway, he has a ton of recipes. I actually ordered his book, and he's someone who I think is just like a health guru type person who is a fitness trainer and also still, he just juices throughout the day. So, looking forward to that book. Like I said, I'm kind of, leaving some things in, leaving some things out as far as stuff that I'm juicing. I feel really good. I think my skin looks good, I've noticed. I notice like I put lotion on every night, and I wouldn't say that I'm ever dry, but I need lotion. And I noticed yesterday, like usually like after I shave and wash my face and everything, when I'm drying my hair and stuff, I just like my face feels so dry that I'm like, where is the lotion? So it's going to crack off. I noticed yesterday my face didn't feel like that. Like I had actually brushed my teeth and ran around the house and then thought, oh wait, I didn't put moisturizer on. When normally as I'm brushing my teeth, my face just feels tight and dry, like I need to put something on it. So I definitely think there's some changes going on with my skin. I seem to be the positive one, so I'm happy. My hair, pretty normal. I have like big frizzy hair, so it's always kind of that way. But energy levels are good. I had trouble sleeping last night. That's the first time since I've been on this that I've had trouble. I don't know if maybe I drank some juice too late. I did have fruit later in the day, so that's why I'm thinking I'm going to switch to just greens for that last juice for sure. So hope all's going well. I'm staying on here looking at other people's videos, and it's just so inspirational to just kind of not feel like you're in it alone. And also for people that are bothering to watch, it's appreciated because you kind of do, like, it makes me feel like I'm a little accountable to y'all, and so if you're bothering to watch, then I certainly don't want to let you down, and that kind of helps me for sure. So anyway, I'll make another video later. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.